I kind of mix it all in, and but it's still me at the end of the day. So that's the background.
What's the music scene looking like down there now? Because I always hear the sentiment when it comes from a lot of artists that I've interviewed from the South. They're saying the music scene isn't as what it seems, but then I see artists like the Baby popping off, and I see artists like the Atlanta dudes popping off, and then and then you have like the little people within your community and secular communities. So, what is the music scene down there for you? Do you feel like there's opportunities for you guys now, being in 2024?
I mean, it is. You just got to have a car, and some gas, and you can kind of move around. But you're gonna have to move around. It's kind of like we still got the chitlin circuit down here. So a lot of Georgia acts, a lot of Atlanta artists, they break in the Carolinas. But in the Carolinas, we kind of like you got to show me. It's kind of like you got to prove yourself. So they want you to be. If they see you jumping in Florida or in New York or somewhere else, then they're like, oh, okay, they give them a level of respect for you, and then they may check you out. But like it's so much blue collar. Wake up in the morning 9 to 5, and football and sports is so big here that like entertainment kind of falls behind with that. So you kind of really gotta do it the throwback way. You got to do street campaigns, run ads, put posters up. It's still folks that run up on me asking for CDs. So I got an OG I'm chopping it up with now about just giving them some CDs, and we're just gonna do it the Dolph way. We're just gonna give them out, and you know what I'm saying. If we find them on the ground, we're gonna pick them back up and give them out again. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
CDs. You know what I'm saying? Because if the grid ever go down, guess what we back to? If you didn't download and save everything off the cloud, you right back to your CD player. So I tell everybody, even though if you get a new 2020 vehicle, still keep you some like from the last decade or back, because you never know, you might want to ride and still, jam some music.
Nah, everybody trying to stunt now and drive Teslas. Go ahead, Kiana.
Yeah, you're so right about that, bro. No, I want to say the beautiful thing I think about that when people come from a small area versus like a New York City or an LA, I feel like the hunger there is so much stronger, right? Because the want versus the ability to get it and the small likelihood just increases that hunger. Whereas when you're in New York City, like every rapper out here thinks that they're the best and that they're going to run up the numbers, right? That just becomes like almost a delusional thing because they're so accustomed. First of all, hip hop is obviously born in New York City, and they look around and they just figure, I have all of the components it takes to make it. But if you don't have that drive and that hustle, right? Like look at Nipsey. Look what he did. He really set a bar. And so when you take it back to that like street team guerrilla marketing, it's very like Shampoo, right? Shampoo still utilizes those techniques. As look how he had dudes all through the streets of New York for DJ Khaled's last album.
And Don Toliver too. Yeah, this outside. YNBS was outside for Don Toliver when we were doing the promotion.
Absolutely. And Busta Rhymes
album. And Busta Rhymes on his last single that he was pushing too.
Yep.
Yeah. I look back and I do feel like the art of that is, like you said, you have to keep something relevant. And I do see artists pushing vinyls and different things with their music. So artistically now, where do you find yourself in 2024? What space are you creating from musically?
I've always been like an artist. It don't matter what I go through. I can kind of just go in the studio and I can draw from experience. So whatever I got to do, I can just do it. I'm kind of like a workhorse that way. But I'm watching the game. It's just different. I think the music we kind of going through the Great Depression in the music industry, because every time we kind of we hit a peak.
Let them cook, VPR. Let them
doing
cook
something well. They kind of, and I ain't gonna get too specific in the days. They kind of make sure that everything kind of hit a reset button. We went from vinyl to tapes, to CDs, to streaming, and it took the control out of the artist's hands as far as the residuals. Because when you go hand to hand, you getting it front end. But really, streaming game is a long game, so it's more of a back end type of game. So that's why it's so important for you, to own, everything, so you can get paid from all these different avenues, your PROs, your sound exchanges. You want all that money to come back to you. And one of DJ Chuck T, he mentioned that if an independent artist actually owns all of the different and does his paperwork right with the MLC and everybody, your streams actually will equate to a penny per stream. But that's only if you do the paperwork for all the different places that you have to register your music. So now we talking about you do 100,000 streams. Now, you know what I'm saying? Now we getting back to the real money on that makes sense, for us again. But a lot of people, they don't tell you that. And a lot of time, if you chasing just a big check up front, you'll give it all away just to be able to get something when you're in a struggling situation, which I totally understand. So you got to kind of weigh it out. know yourself and see what makes sense for you to do short term and long term. Kind of think longitudinally, you know what I'm saying, and make sure it all makes sense and work the move like that. So, you know, I'm always adapting. I try to stick with what I know that I'm good at, but I'm also, if I have any weaknesses, I read books, I watch videos, I watch y'all show all the time with everybody y'all be talking to, and I write my notes down, soak up game, and I try and apply it like that. So that's how we playing it today. You know,
Man,